It's time for Allie's Book Club. That's right, I came up with a jingle for this segment. I hope our special guest, Alice Kuiper, is going to be impressed with that. It's a holiday edition of Allie's Book Club, so thank you for once again taking time out of what I suspect is a pretty hectic and busy schedule as you and your family get ready for the holidays.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting over at our house. We did some wrapping last night, so the children are excited.
Okay, so it was wrapping up gifts as opposed to doing some hip-hop music.
That's right. That's right.
That's
Although
right.
I think I might bring the jingle to the children for them to enjoy later. Yeah.
I would love to see your husband Jan Martel rapping some tunes about the life of pi. That's something to look forward to.
Actually, Depsol did some very good virtual hip hop classes, and Jan was to be seen dancing along with Amanda there.
Well, good.
So, yeah.
Good. Let's talk about books. So, a holiday edition. We usually talk about one book at length, and then spotlight a local book. We're going to talk basically about things you might want to give someone during the holiday season. And we're going to start off with the little ones first, I believe. What's the first book aimed at a younger audience that you'd like to highlight?
We have a wonderful book for young readers this time around. So Vikki Vansickle is an author from Toronto, and she has come up with a beautiful book called Teddy Bear of the Year. It's illustrated by Sydney Hanson, and the illustrations are just gorgeous for children to explore and dive into. I think you probably know, as well as I do, that children are experts at illustration, and so the illustration is just charming. Anyway, it's fun for adults too. It's about Ollie the bear, and he's at a teddy bear picnic feeling like he's at the office almost, and there's various awards going out for Cuddler of the Year, and he feels like he's not going to get one. And it's just a lovely book. It was selected by Dolly Parton for her Imagination Library, which is a book program to give out free books organized by the amazing Dolly Parton. So I cannot recommend this highly enough.
You know what? She is amazing, and that's a whole other subject in and of itself. And we can thank a big donation of hers in terms of helping us to get, I believe, the Moderna vaccine. But that's another story. And that's dealing with reality, Dolly Parton style. Let's talk about a book called The Reality Bubble. What's that about?
So this one I would recommend for the nonfiction lover in your life, someone who likes facts and who likes to be rooted in telling us those fascinating little tidbits about life. It's full of them. Ziya Tong has written The Reality Bubble, Blind Spots, Hidden Truths, and the Dangerous Illusions that Shape Our World. This is basically the idea that each of us lives in a perspective where we can't really see outside of ourselves. So we don't pay attention to where our food comes from. We don't pay attention to where our waste goes. We don't pay attention to the big scale problems of the planet. We might want to help 100 people, but we can't help 1 million. And so she tries to look at all sorts of little factual details to help us understand that the world is something we really need to look at and pay attention to.
All right, and speaking of the big wide world, in and around Saskatchewan, we have many, when things return to so-called normal, people are going to want to get out and explore. And part of that exploration is food. Tell us about Flat Out Delicious.
So this is by Jenn. She traveled around. I think there's 167 food producers and artisans featured here. For example, in Saskatchewan, you've got Pig and Pantry, the butchers. It tells you all about the work they're doing. And it's almost a possible solution to this blindness we see in the reality bubble where we're not thinking about where our food is coming from. She's worked so hard to help us notice the extraordinary range of local food producers we have in our province, focusing on the restaurants, delicious meals. So it's for any gourmet or cook in your life who wants to think about food, and any of us really who want to focus in, perhaps look through. It's like a list of each restaurant or each chef and the work they do and how you can connect with them, even through the pandemic, to order maybe their boxes or pick up online. So it's a fantastic book.
And I know you've been a huge supporter of the local restaurant industry through the pandemic, and this is a really great choice as well that fits with so much of what you've talked about in the past as well. So we've talked about the grown-ups, we've talked about the little kids. What about in between? I believe you have a book suggested called The Barren Ground or Barren Grounds.
Yeah, so this is Narnia meets traditional Indigenous storytelling. This is David Robertson, who I've brought to you before. He also had an adult memoir published earlier this year. This is a wonderful story of two foster children, Morgan and Eli, and they travel through into this whole other world where they meet a magical series of beings and explore. So it's like Narnia, but it has amazing Indigenous content and storytelling that really, I think, any kid would just love the fantasy and also the learning element too, which is so artfully done by Dave.
And we should, every so often, you need a giggle and a grin. And I believe you have something called the Saskatchewan Joke Book, or the Great Saskatchewan Joke Book to let us in on.
Oh, this is the sort of thing you might want to keep in your bathroom. Great Saskatchewan joke book.
I wasn't going to say that, but that's what I was thinking.
Just to giggle away with. I don't know. It's just lots of really funny stories. I think we like to laugh at ourselves here in Saskatchewan, and I think Joel Jeffrey does a fantastic job of bringing that humour, little levity through the pandemic and the endlessness of it all. I can't recommend buying books highly enough as a Christmas gift. We have some great local bookstores, Turning the Tide, McNally Robinson, Indigo, Coles. So going into those stores and talking with the people there, taking any of these recommendations, books are just a perfect gift because they keep on giving.
They really do, and and you've been very giving of your time on this segment, and those are the books that you suggested. But I'm too self-effacing to say anything. But we're going to add another book to the list. I think people should get out there and get The World's Worst Parrot. That's your most recent book, am I right?
Yes, and also P as planned. Actually, I had two out this year.
Oh, do you?
They're both by Orca Books, who are a publisher in Vancouver who do what's called high-low books. So there's lots of action, really fun and easy reading. I'd recommend any of the Orca book series for anyone who's looking to get a kid engaged in reading. Arthur Slade just has a new one out too with Orca, so you could look that up as well if you're looking to inspire kids in your life.
All right. Well, you inspire us all the time. Happy holidays. Stay safe. I hope you and your family have a wonderful holiday season, and we'll speak with you again in 2021.
Thanks, Jeff.